Oops. That's an option too. I mean, I don't know. Otherwise, we could put the advertisement out with like a Google form, maybe um maybe as one of the questions it could be, sign up for a time if you're willing to, like, are you wanting to contact people first like I normally do and do like a phone interview kind of thing and then schedule their casting call appointment? Or do we want to just let anybody sign up to come to the casting call?
What do you think, Heather?
Um, I think signups would be great, but I think we've had more success with like a call. Like everybody, sorry, a call is the bad thing because you just said you call people. I think just an open call of come and show up and see. I'm a little nervous about only like we've got that Q&A coming up, and is that too soon? Do we need to push um our second casting call back a little bit, or our first one back a little bit? Um, I also like the idea of a Google Drive that they can start filling out paperwork. One of the things that Max and I had, one of the things I had suggested, and I told Max to look into, is what type of scare are you? Are you a pop scare? Are you an actor? Are you, like he says, a screamer? Because I think a lot of kids think it would be fun, like you said, but they don't realize, oh, there's a whole bunch of types, and I need to figure out what I want.
For
So
sure.
I think an open call wouldn't be a bad idea. I'd even suggested like maybe we set, like the movie projector and have people off to one side and then pull them into, the room or into the barn. We could, you know, maybe pull them to another area so that they can privately meet with us. So you're not like listening, going, oh, what are they doing in there? But I don't know.
Ryan, I like it, Heather. Ryan, do you have any input?
No, I've got thoughts on other things that we can do with actors. We don't necessarily have to go over here, but this is kind of a listen and learn for me on this front of the hunt anyways. So
Okay. So I kind of like I like all the thoughts. I think maybe I lack the confidence in us. With the last couple of years, when I say us, I mean like the organization. Last year, and I think the year before, we tried to do like casting call things and auditions, and we ended up getting a bunch of our prior actors showing up early, and we didn't want them there, and the new people were asking questions, and so which is good, but it was kind of like it was kind of good, and it wasn't great or what we wanted. So I want to learn from that. I
Well, that's
almost
where I
feel like,
think,
oh, go ahead, Heather.
no, sorry, finish.
I almost feel
What do you
like
think?
we tried to have this whole thing where maybe we were trying to do too much at one time, because we're like, come and learn about it, casting
And
call. If
do
you've been
the,
here before, an actor before, come 30 minutes later and you can meet everybody and get other new people recruited and pumped up. And it just didn't quite go the way I wanted. And so maybe what we do is we try to just focus in on the interview slash audition, and if we look at it more of an interview instead of a workshop and training and team building all together in one big swoop, it might work better.
Ryan?
yeah, you're pretty much saying the only input I've had so far is just coming out your mouth. Yeah, I would agree that you've got to, if you had a get together that was multiple intents for multiple audiences, yeah, no, for sure you gotta narrow that down. And I was gonna ask kind of like how you reach out to these new it's catching on the hand raised. How you reach out to these new actors and everything, because I think the important part is simplicity of message. What are people coming? Who, what can they expect to come? And then your target audience, like making sure you're sending that to places where you're getting that target audience, whether that's, Facebook advertisement, social media advertisement, going to places specifically with intent like the UNR acting school or local theater or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, this is an acting call for new actors. And then as an aside, I don't know that we can't do it. Well, we can't do it this year because it's too early, but something that we can do is if we plan out ahead that I'm going to come and get some video of different events of the nights, start collecting content, we can put together a short little like hype reel for your ad for actor searches to kind of, so that it's not just like, oh, this place is looking for, there's a video going, oh, wow, that looks really cool. I want to do that. So it's something I can put together for this year for next year.
Heather.
So I don't know how to put my hand down. Anyways, reaction. So what we were trying to accomplish by, okay, it's there forever. What we were trying to accomplish is, that's why Max had suggested, am I on mute? Max had suggested the that Q&A to kind of, that he wanted to do a barbecue on the 24th, and that would kind of take place of the show up, ask questions that we try to do that half hour, because you're correct. Last year was not successful, and I think we were trying to do two different things. We were trying to get the new people in, meet them, talk with them, let them know, but then they were trying to do, like, Max really wanted to do actor training, and that's what that second half was supposed to be. And it just kind of fell flat. So that's where I think this, like a casting call, come in, do your thing, you can leave. Come in, do your thing. Where if it's open call, everybody can come if they want to, or if we have signups and you can sign up for whatever you want to do, that would be more of Max prerogative. But I like, Cameron, that you tried to nail this down to say, what does it look like? Because I think he has it loose in his head, but isn't quite sure.
What if we do this? Here's, okay, I think this is really good because we're dissecting and understanding it better. I feel like at this point, if we were, and Christy could speak to this in the sense of, there may be people that are interested and they're like, well, I can't make what's the date? The 7th, and I can't make the 22nd, but I'm interested. I almost wonder if we set up and say in the month of July, we're going to have weekly casting calls, and it could coincide with build, if we're out there building or whatever, not that they come and help build, but that we're on the farm. And so the thing would be, we create our content for the advertisement, for the recruiting on Indeed and all our different channels and platforms, and then we start getting people in, and we're doing the initial screening and then setting them up for dates to come for their interview. And we just plan on having those weekly. Because
weekly might be a lot, but at least twice a month.
Yeah, and I think Christy, that we did 2 interviews today. There's just a lot of, when we're hiring people, we're doing interviews like all the time, and I think we need to look at these casting calls more like interviews and versus I think if I understand it right, in the movie industry or TV, they're like casting call, and it's like there's so many people that want to be on a TV show or in as a stand-in or whatever, that they're like, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to be there, and they get so many. I don't think we're at the point yet where we have that big of a draw.
Yeah,
Get all those people. So I don't want to limit the potential of getting other people by, they're like, yeah, I just can't make it on one of those dates.
Yeah, I would agree with you, because when you say the term casting call, I mean, they're called cattle calls in the industry, just because you get I mean, hundreds of actors, if it's just for an open thing. So I don't know what your events generally look like with new people being interested, but it's about finding a way to reach the audience, excite the audience, and then give the audience the opportunity. And so what I'm hearing from you is which I agree with on that third note, is that there needs to be multiple instances where they can come It cannot just be one for this type of thing, for sure.
No. And I do think more, what makes me nervous is that he wants to have everything dialed in at the beginning of August, but I think there's going to be a large portion of people that aren't even thinking about Halloween until August, September. And so he's just I love Max, but he is working off of Dark Corner is having their casting call in July, end of June, July. So he's freaking out. He thinks we're not moving fast enough,
That's
which I
great,
think we're moving
yeah.
okay.
I don't know when it comes to the professional industry side of the haunts. I don't know what standard. I know a lot of haunts are just getting off their halfway to Halloween party, so they already have their previous actors coming in and doing stuff. You know, they did the halfway to Halloween. Maybe they found some extra people there. I don't know if they're doing casting calls here, but from just using my common knowledge about the way people are thinking, gosh, July seems early for everybody but us weirdos. Like, you know, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to be casting through August, you know, and when it comes to actor training, I mean, I could, you know, I could hire an actor mid-September and train them to be ready for a haunt, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I just think he's getting, I think he's watching other things and getting nervous, where I would hate to um dial everything in July and miss the opportunity for a really good person that didn't think about it
Yeah.
until
There's
August.
the twofold, right? There's two parts of that energy. There's the actor's energy that we might be able to pull some people. If people that are thinking about getting into acting for Halloween in July, they're probably pretty serious. There's that, but like you're gonna get new people in August and even September to start thinking, but heck, you could probably get some interest even into October. Not that we want to hire people in October, but you want to leave openings through there. Number two, the second part of that energy is just our energy. How much energy are we going to put into, you know, actor calls and all these things? And if it's Max heading it up and that's where his energy goes, great. But, you know, from the build side of the perspective, I want to be like dialing in through June, July, August. That's go time for me, because in September, I want us to be feeling like we're adding to the second tier. If we're building base tier in September, I've failed you. Like that's the way I look at it. So, and I'm gone for half of July. So we got a lot of work to do there. Not that I'm going to be doing the actor stuff, but just.
Okay, awesome. I'm making some notes as you guys are talking about what this flow will look like.
What from my perspective, I kind of feel like we should put some ads out there, maybe start on Indeed to start, mainly because we're trying to, I think people scroll through there. You know, maybe I think we would get some people early on that maybe aren't even intending, you know, they're not seeking it out. They just happen to see it and they apply. Because I don't think it hurts to get that ball rolling. You know, maybe we're not having them come in June, but we have their name. I feel like on that ad, we should have them fill out some sort of application. So it's not just an advertisement saying, come to casting call on July 3rd, you know, have them actually fill something out so we know who they are, so we know who to expect. And then I can easily, you know, I would just text, I don't call anybody, you know, in the beginning, you know, I can send a quick text and follow up just so there is some, so people don't forget, so they know we're serious, so they, you know, so it does seem more of like a job application that they're, you know, they are actually applying for a job. It's not just to come here, you know, and ask questions to hear about it kind of thing, which they still could do that. But, you know, we could throw that out there now and just see what happens. And, you know, maybe do, and then if we don't have, I definitely have seen success with promoting an ad on Indeed. But I was telling Cameron before you guys got on, we were trying to hire for a behind the scenes tech for last year because somebody, anyway, I had a ton of applicants for that. And then we decided not even to hire somebody. But we got a lot. So I
Is that
really
video
think,
production behind the scenes?
what was that?
Is that video, you said behind the scenes tech,
Yeah, he was gonna like be in charge of turning all the lighting on and some
Oh.
other things. But we also, yeah, so I think we could see some, and if we had, Cameron, if we could make an application, strictly just for corn creepers. And then in that application, we can have them choose, are you interested in scaring, whatever those, are you a screamer? Are you a, whatever, I don't know what all those different types of positions are. So we can get all that information up front before they ever show up. So we kind of have an idea of who they are, what they're interested in, and then we can follow up with just a quick, this is when we want you to come, and then we can coordinate it. But I really feel like those steps are necessary in order to create a culture of this is actually a job. It's not just something you're volunteering to do and you might get paid a little. And hopefully in the end, by, Halloween, we still have actors showing up. That's the goal.
Yeah. I like it. So let's here, let me read this flow that I typed. So, and you guys tell me if I'm missing anything on this. So we're going to advertise on our different platforms for the job. We'll have a specific application for corn creepers, which will include questions specific to corn creepers, like the type of acting they want to do or actor type thing. We'll do an initial phone screening, and then at that time set, if they pass the phone screening, we'll set a date and a time for their we'll call it casting call, but that's going to be what I think of in my brain, audition/interview. So at their casting call, we will interview them, like normal, and then have them do some acting. And then if they're hired, which if they've gotten to that point, I think we could hire some of them on the spot. And I think that would be good to do. Fear Factory gave us some, when they did the consulting for us there in Salt Lake. They're like, we make a big deal out of it. We have them do their thing, and then we say, here, step into this room and give us a couple minutes. And there are people that are there. They say, okay, come on back. And they say, okay, we're so excited. Congratulations, you're the newest Fear Factory team member, and they make them feel really good about that. And I think would be a good thing to do. So then if they're hired, we onboard them, we add them to the actor message groups, and then they'll begin actor trainings. So I kind of see this process happening through the summer. And so parallel to that, and simultaneously, we're going to be doing some actor trainings kind of as we start filtering people into the ranks. Is there anything you guys think I should add or fix on that? Does that sound good to y'all?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, awesome. Okay, let's go into let's go into let's see. So that being said, I think that we need to set, I mean, the easy thing to do, guys, is to go through our actors that we had last year and say, are you on board for this year? And then give them first pick to their positions and characters and stuff like that. And then we can begin the actor trainings. So I think okay, let me move on to our compensation package. So let me open up what we did last year.
Okay, so Cameron, real fast, so you've got a group me going and a Facebook group, is that right, for the haunt?
We've got so many groups going for the haunt, but
okay,
yeah, we have a separate group me, and we have a Facebook group for actors too. And that, well, the Facebook group is like, has tons of people on there from the past. And
Okay,
so,
so do we want to do what we've done before, doing a returning employee application as well as a new employee application for this? And that way they can put in who they want, ask them to kind of do that same thing and just post it on those different groups, the returning one.
that's a good idea. Well, you know what? I think we could use we could use the same.
Or just use the same one. Okay.
But we can post it there. I think if we might get folks that are maybe haven't, because there's so much difference in how much they've participated or haven't participated.
Yeah, okay.
So
But maybe that's our first thing is we just start posting the application on all of these groups
yeah, I'll add this.
as a way of recruiting our previous employees.
It could also possibly go, Christy, to our other farm employees, because I know, was it
Yeah.
Liz Smith
Uh-huh.
that joined the ranks from horses, and
There has been crossover for sure.
she really liked that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go through this kind of quick. This is what we did last year. This is like what we gave people that were interested in acting and what we told them. And so we gave them, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so we gave them the dates every night that we're doing it. We're telling them the operating hours and when they needed to be there. We gave them the org structure. We gave them some expectations, and then we talked about compensation. And last year we said the hourly rate starts at $10 an hour. If you work every night of the season, you get $200 cash bonus. Awards, prizes, and we'll feed you. They need to be at least 16 years old. And I must be missing it, but for some reason, we had like, in order to be a paid actor, you had to do so many nights per season.
Mhm. I believe it was 8 nights.
Yeah, I wonder why I don't have it on here. That's funny. Can be.
Do we want to do any maybe we don't have time for it, but do we want to do any graphic update to this? Give it a little of the Andelin brand.
A little flair.
A little Andelin brand, some logos, some colors, some
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I always get so focused on like I just need the information out there, and
yeah, well, it's I mean, where you're at organizationally, it's a low priority right now, but eventually those types of things, anything that goes out to the public is branded content. So, but right now.
yeah, and this doesn't necessarily go to the public. This goes to people that have shown up here. They've kind of passed the screenings or whatever, and so it's like,
Right.
Here's the deal. So,
yeah.
So we had 8 nights. I'm just gonna put that in there because 8-night threshold.
Hey, Ryan, I have a question for you. Just with your experience.
Yeah.
We've struggled with this whole, you have to work so many nights until you get paid and that kind of thing. And then sometimes, people commit to working those, so we start paying them, but then they fizzle out. So then they ended up getting paid for, being a paid employee, even though they actually didn't work all those days. What would it be so bad to just maybe, because we pay weekly, but maybe we don't pay contractors until 2 weeks in, or like, I don't know. How have you seen things?
Right. So what you're saying is
to,
you started paying from the beginning of the season because this person was going to be there enough nights for pay, but then they end up not finishing.
Right. And then they got paid.
Yeah, that's tricky. And it's the same way with a lot of other, actor talent based things it is notoriously hard subsection of employee in a notoriously hard employed region anyways. You got a part-time, or it's really the gig role, and you're getting people that are kind of like looking at this as a fun thing, like you said. That, I mean, really a lot of it, a lot of it's going to come down to hiring and hiring well, and it's just really difficult to get people to, I mean, this is hot industry wide, from what I understand, is it's really hard to get actors that commit and to stay there. So it really, I think on that front comes down to twofold, in my opinion, will come down to twofold, is getting is obviously the upfront good hiring and communication, the way you frame it, like you said, it's a job, this is what you're expected type thing. Second part of that really becomes a conversation between you and Cameron, in my opinion, of when you get paid, because it's this like a, are people gonna stop doing it if you say pay is at the end of the year in a bonus structure, or do you just do a if they agree to it, there's a certain amount of pay that you get up front, and then there's a bonus structure once you hit a certain amount of nights, or that kind of becomes a conversation between you guys on pay structure. So
have that conversation, because we definitely have seen that in the past.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Envy Energy just got here. They're coming to my door, so let me get them squared away and I'll be right back.
Okay,
But that's the discussion. And we don't necessarily, maybe we don't have a threshold, maybe, I don't know. I'll be right back.
I think that's something that we should consider. Maybe it isn't number of nights. Maybe it's something else,
I mean, I think you would get more. I don't know. Obviously, I'm new. I don't know where the financials are at, and that's between you and Cameron on what is worth it for the haunt. But one of the things that's kind of like, the spending money to make money, the more you put into the haunt build to make it look better, the more people are interested in being there. The more that you have good actors in your haunt, the more it excites the people that are there. The more that you're willing to just, to get good actors in, the better actors you're going to have to do that. So for me, I would see an incentive on that you're paying everyone that comes a certain amount irregardless. And then there's a threshold of nights that you come to where you get a bonus bump in pay.
Yeah. So maybe we don't even do volunteerism.
And yeah, I mean, especially for paying everyone. I mean, it depends. That obviously depends on Cameron, but I would say there is a benefit of and even if it's a low amount, right? You can do, so the way the fee structure works in Hollywood or in acting and stage stuff is these would be considered featured extras or extra roles. There's a daily rate. It's not hourly. It's you get paid X amount, and the daily rate in Hollywood is like $125 a day or something like that. Obviously, it's going to be less here, but there could be a daily rate, and it could be low. And then you just clearly list the fee structure of hey, at this, a couple brackets at this many days, you get a bump in your day rate, and then so that gets twofold, right? So if you come out for one day, I don't know what the numbers would be, but let's throw out random numbers, say 20, 30 bucks or something like that for your first night. You do a couple nights. When you get to night 5, it's well, now you're going to get $50, $60 a night for every night that you're here. And so then they're oh, well, not only I get that pay bump, it also encouraged me to come back more nights because I'm getting paid more each night I'm here in the future. So
I love that, actually.
Just a stepping structure. So I get paid for coming regardless. And then the more I come, the more I get paid, the more I get that bonus. And then so you're drawing more people to it. You have more incentive. People have incentive to come more often and continue to come, and you're not feeling like you're going against your own rule. Well, we paid these guys to be a paid actor, and they didn't show up on time. So
I really like that, and we don't do this $200 bonus if you come all the nights. It's just your daily rate, and then although I don't know that we could do a daily rate, because we do have people that come. And this is the problem with the culture. They come at 9:30 and leave at 10:30.
No, you can't do that.
You can't.
And that's the other
30 and work for 1 hour.
That's the other thing about doing a daily rate, is that it is a job. You don't get paid if you don't show up at X time and stay till X time.
Yeah, and I think we need to really, that has to be enforced, because in doing the payroll, you guys would, Heather, I mean, you got Patricia who shows up for 45 minutes. And I'm like, honey, you can't show up for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you may as well not come.
That is one of my goals. One thing I would like to have this year is that you can come be a volunteer for an hour, but if you can't come when the day starts, then
You're
Yeah,
not getting
no,
I think you
that-
don't get.
You can't, that's not part of the show. You can't do that. And I was
Yeah.
just to catch you up, Cameron, something I suggested, and of course this comes down to financials between you and Christy and your wife on what is monetarily workable in this arena. But my suggestion was having, rather than doing you commit to a certain amount of nights to get pay or do all this stuff, is that it is just a paid position, whatever that price is, whatever how low number that is, you get a daily rate, right? Just like you would in any other featured extra role in Hollywood, or even if it's a small amount, you get a paid rate for each day you do. Those hours are whatever hours you set, whether 6 to 9 or 10 or whatever the hours are. You get a paid rate for at a certain amount of days into the haunt, you get a bump to another pay rate. And so then it creates an ongoing incentive. A, you get more people to come and want to work for you because you actually are paying up front. And that helps the haunt become better, give better experience, which then to the customer, which then creates the customers wanting to come back more because the actors have that outsized role on the expectations of and the experience. So then the second part of that is that as the actors are there, they see that their rate goes up the more days that they're motivated to go to more days because they're going to make more money. And it also cancels out that issue that you have of people not showing up on time, because if you don't show up for the full day, you don't get your pay rate.
So are you saying, let's say you get $30 a night. So you come, the first week you come all 3 nights. And so you get $90. You got $30 a night for 3 nights. And then the second week you get the same, but then the third week, because you've done 6 nights, then you get bumped up to $35 a night.
Yeah, whatever
what you're saying.
Whatever those numbers work out to, that makes sense, but enough that it's you get your pay. So you're like, hey, I'm coming, I'm getting paid this, or right off the first interview or right off the advertisement. Hey, I'm getting paid. I'm gonna go check this thing out. I get paid. Now I know, okay, I'm getting paid. I've got to go. So I've got to be here to get paid from these hours. And then, after however long it is and however much that bump is, it's like, hey, I know if I do 5 more nights, I'm going to get a jump up in pay, and then I'm going to want to go more, and then I'm having more fun. And then it doesn't matter if they skip on you the rest of the season, because you're doing your pay rate and they're motivated to come, and they're going to be there at the right times. And they're, and with any job, when you're a volunteer, you can be told what to do to a certain extent, but you're a volunteer. When you pay, you can be let go, you can be, whatever. I mean, there's, that's just my thought. But obviously that comes down to a pay structure, how much you're willing to pay, assuming, let's say that motivates everyone to come every night. How much can you afford on that? How much can you pay in pay bumps? How much is incentivizing for a pay bump versus they don't really care,
I think it's a great idea that we should explore, honestly. I really do, because then you're not doing that big $200 bonus at the end. They're getting it as they go, and that will eliminate those that are coming for an hour. You won't get paid. Like, we're not doing a per hour. It's just the daily rate. And if that's common in the actors world, then it's not like it's a foreign concept. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, this would be called a featured extra, or featured extra in Hollywood, or a featured background, different things. And it depends on, you won't get this complicated here, but it gets to the stage where there's different pay thresholds for depending on what you're doing. If you're just someone in the background kind of doing a background set versus you're a featured scare that's at a certain point that's interacting with the crowd, and they have a lot, there's a lot of stuff. Obviously you're not going to get that complicated here, but you eventually could get there,
Yeah.
Something else we could add in is like a bonus if you work all 3 nights of the week. So let's say it's $30 a night, but if you do all 3 nights, then you're gonna get an extra $20.
Yeah, and hell, you could even advertise, bumps for follow-up at the end of the season. Said, hey, your second season or your third season or whatever with us, if you're doing a certain amount of nights, you get a bump for the amount of seasons that you've been, and you start getting loyal actors that are going to put more and more into it. And if they're getting paid a certain amount, they might even be willing to come and put input on their character, put some build into their character, put some work into their costume. Like, hey, if you're a person that's coming year after year and we're going to give you a bump next year for your nightly rate, they might take their costume and their makeup a bit more seriously, get there a little bit earlier, get a little more work done.
So I think I like the idea. I think the drawback that I'm thinking of is the folks that come 2 nights and then you never see them the rest of the season. And there's an element of you paid them, but even bigger. Well, hopefully we'd have them already on board and have all their info, but there's a lot of work to onboard somebody, and then they work 2 nights, and then, I mean, even to the end, at the end of the year, we're giving them a W-2 for $50.
The theory there, my friends, I don't know the work on the back end with the W-2 and all that stuff, and that's definitely a consideration as far as man hours for your operation, for your organization. But the theory being that you're going to have those people that just kind of show up and disappear anyways. And what you are eliminating in work are the people that come to say that they're going to show up this many nights, start getting paid, and then stop showing up, and then you just got all that work anyways. And at the very least, that maybe having this pay structure of a nightly pay incentivizes them to keep coming. But yeah, either way, you're definitely gonna have people that stop showing up regardless and just take their 1 or 2 nights.
Well, and that's in all of our positions. We get that. I mean, in the festival, we end up getting, Cameron, people drop off for lots of different reasons. And I think it could help with getting them there like on time and where they stay the whole night, where they don't think they can just come and go. Well, they can't come and go as they please because they're not going to get there. They won't get paid at all. Like we say from the beginning, it's a daily rate. And this is, you're expected to be there from 6:30 to 10. And if you're not, then you become a volunteer, I guess. If you don't come for the entire time, then you don't get the daily rate. And the time, I don't know, maybe we don't even say that because then they'll be like, well, I'll just be a volunteer then.
Yeah,
Hey guys, the meeting's about to end, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sending